Some new issues. If you bought an airline ticket before last weekend, but you're traveling now, turns out something might happen with your ticket. On Wednesday, the IRS actually asked the airlines to refund the federal taxes, which are included in all of those tickets. That's because the taxes expired last week when Congress couldn't agree on a plan to keep the FAA running. But just because there are no taxes doesn't mean the tickets are cheaper, and it doesn't necessarily mean you'll get the money back. And all of that is causing a huge stir, as CBS News correspondent Peter Nguyen reports.
The friendly skies aren't so welcoming right now. As of last Friday, the Federal Aviation Administration has been on a partial shutdown, and as a result, the taxes they normally collect on airfares are on hold. But instead of passing that savings on to the consumer in the form of lower ticket prices, most airlines have raised their fees to make up the difference.
Instead of helping the people, they're just looking out for themselves.
Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood agrees.
Average citizens who are planning family vacations on airlines can little afford to pay an additional cost on their ticket.
And those additional costs are adding up to big profits. $200 million every week from the extra $22+ on every $200 ticket sold. A few carriers aren't raising fares. Alaska, Hawaiian, and Spirit Airlines, which even started a website this week called Don't Tax Me, Bro, to encourage customers to fight the increase. But not everyone is hopeful.
You gotta take it because there's not a lot else you can do.
And with the debt crisis taking center stage, it seems the legislative stalemate that caused the FAA shutdown will continue, with no relief in sight for flyers or their wallets. Betty Nguyen, CBS News, New York.
And with us now is CBS News travel editor Peter Greenberg. Peter, good morning. The issue, which seems to be the issue anytime we talk about the price of a ticket and everything that's getting tacked on, is, as that woman just said, there's not a lot you can do. You don't have another choice.
No, this is a de facto airline airfare increase of 7.5%. And to give you an idea what we're talking about, if you do an average airfare of $300, that's an additional $25 the airlines now get to pocket that would have normally gone to the IRS. And that's a big problem.
So how is that legal?
Airlines can pocket this money because they kept the fares what they were before. They're just not turning over that money to the federal government. And remember, those taxes aren't collected until the actual plane takes off with you in it. So there's the real issue here. What happens if you bought a ticket 3 or 4 weeks ago, paid the taxes, but you haven't left yet? Do you get those taxes back?
Do you?
Nobody knows. That's the issue.
That's what everybody's trying to figure out. Yeah. What's amazing, too, and I feel like almost a broken record because we talk about this a lot, when there is talk of any sort of a fare increase, is clearly airlines don't have a lot of goodwill, I would say, with the public these days. The public is frustrated. They feel they don't get what they pay for, and they're paying for everything. So why not take this opportunity to win them over a little?
Isn't this ironic that at the very time that they're pocketing this difference, the airlines have been lobbying Congress saying, please don't increase our taxes because it'll kill the airline industry.
Yeah.
So there's a tax holiday. What do the airlines do? We'll take that money. Not a good idea.
Not a good idea.
No.
What's interesting here is we've also talked a lot about Spirit Airlines. You're not a huge fan, but in this case...
Isn't it ironic that the one airline that usually leads the pack in nickel and diming passengers is the one airline that says, we're not going to keep the taxes, we're going to keep the fares down, we're taking that 7.5% off your fare. They need to be applauded for this one.
You can't help but laugh, too, at the website at Don't Tax Me, Bro.
Right. But remember, the dirty secret here is that the airlines figured this out a couple of years ago. That's why they're charging the ancillary fees for pillows, blankets, food, check bags, because those fees are taxed at a much lower rate. So that doesn't get the 7.5% excise tax. So that's less money the government's getting. The airlines are actually making more money now from ancillary fees than they are from actually flying the planes. If they could figure out a way not to fly the planes, they'd be great.
Wow. You just made a lot of people very upset.
Thank you.
But not in a bad way. So as you look at this, if you're buying a plane ticket today, you're essentially paying more.
You are.
Than you would have.
I'm waiting for a class action suit, to tell you the truth.
Do you think that'll happen?
Oh, you bet. How many lawyers don't want to pay the 7.5%?
Good point.
Yeah.
Will it change anything, you think?
Yeah, the lawyers will make the money in the class action suit.
So you're still not going to save any money. You'll get 82 cents.
No, take your ticket to an art supply store, frame it, put it on the wall.
Very nice. Peter Greenberg, always nice to have you here. Thanks.
You got it.